Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas and happy holidays and happy Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and everything under the sun. This is another episode from the Critics Collective. I'm Ron, and we are going to talk about the miracle on 34th Street. All right. Not the nightmare on 34th Street. That is a horror movie. I saw that. I don't think I'm going to review it. It was not very good. It's not very good at all. That's just just sidebar. But here we're talking about Christmas. We're talking about the time of the year where outside feels cold, but the inside feels warm and fuzzy. And for this movie, I'm gonna go and tell you my lows, tell you my highs, and we're gonna go ahead and rate this movie. Now, the movie came out in 1994, if I'm correct. There are some people in this movie that you're gonna see, and you're like, the Leonardo DiCaprio. I know who that is. I don't know. I'm horrible with names. The guy who plays Santa in this is also the guy. Welcome to Jurassic Park. He's the old guy with the cane. He stays with a cane. I don't know if that's for health reasons or he was trademarking pimping in the game since day one. I don't know. But if you listen a little fast, I got to slow down for you to catch up. But anyways, you have Elizabeth Perkins in this as well. Elizabeth Perkins, I always get her confused with Catherine O'Hare, respectfully. I cannot remember what Elizabeth Perkins is in right now at the top of my head, but there's something in my head that makes me think something that was seductive, and steamy. You know what it is? I think it's Tom Hanks' Big. Let me know in the comments. I think she was the love interest for Tom Hanks' Big with the baby corn. My man, a biscuit. She was just a Triscuit ice cream. Okay, let me stop. Like, go haste when I go sidebar. But she, man, in that movie, man, younger me, shoot, older me. Anyways, listen. So focus. Miracle on 34th Street. You have Dylan McDermott. I've seen him in stuff. I thought you have James Remar. He kind of plays a bad guy. Jane Leavies. You've seen her in other shows. I don't know. I want to say like sitcom stuff. I don't know if it was The Nanny or something like that. Point blank, you have a really good cast in this. From some throwback. Allison from The West Wing is in this as well early on in the movie. So, anyways, this movie, not to be confused with the one I mentioned before, has been a remake. There was one I think done in the late 1940s, black and white. You can go check that out. I watched it so long ago I couldn't remember or tell you anything to compare the two. But I do feel like they captured a lot of the original into this remake. There's a few other ones, even a cartoon of Miracle on 34th Street. But to my knowledge, from what I've heard from the people, Miracle on 34th Street, 1994, is the better remake of all of them, or as far as a remake of the remakes, respectfully. Now, for the people, you can be the people. All right, hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. You can be part of the collective family. Now, with that being said, the storyline is this: a lawyer and a little girl must prove that a man claiming to be Santa Claus is the real thing. They follow, again, the same thing from the original. There's a character, I believe her name is Doris. We'll call her D. D is high enough in her company working at a certain store, department store that sounds like a store that's currently in now. I'm not going to say it because we're not sponsored or anything like that, but she works in this department stores when department stores mattered. And she picks this guy to be Santa, and she just goes sideways. Guy gets popular. The kids would say he's viral 6'7", but you're watching this little girl who's been told by her mom that Santa's not real, and she's watching and she's feeling and she's believing. And then you have this lawyer who she's dating who believes that Santa's real, who believes the joy of Christmas, and she has just been hurt so many times she does not believe it. So the lows on this is it tries too hard to go with the remake, and it feels dated more than it should. Okay. There's things they could have done or said that would have made it 1990s, late 90s, whatever you want to say. And it would have helped the story. The pacing is off on this. It's 2 hours on this movie, and there's holes all over the story. They create plot holes because of the universe they create. They don't flush it out. They don't think it all the way through. The obvious conversations that should be happening aren't obvious. They're not there. There's just things that just are completely unrealistic. Without spoiling anything, there might be someone who has to go to court, but they're going to court for a pretty long time period for a charge that isn't as grievous. Like, even picture getting a parking ticket and you got to go to court for 14 days, and every day you're at court for the parking ticket. The parking ticket. They didn't. You could have made it where, in my opinion, you could have made it where it's like, hey, we're gonna go on recess, and no one knows how many recesses you get in court unless you're in the legal system. So you'd be like, hey, we're recess again. It's one day. But anyways, I digress. The good stuff about it, the cast, the warm and cuddly, the vibe that you get from every character, from the lawyer who is trying to get Miss D on board with Santa Claus. Kris Kringle plays a great Kris Kringle. You just feels authentic. The two bad guys feel like two bad guys. There is the little girl, I can't remember what her name is right now, but I think she goes on to play Matilda. Every time she smiled, there was something there. There's some times where she's sitting there with Elizabeth Perkins, and you can see her kind of breaking character. But Elizabeth Perkins, the actress that she is, she steers the young one through the scene. There's a few times where the young one kind of breaks a little bit of the scene, and she's just a kid, and that's cool as well. But there's something about this movie that makes you feel good, that makes you smile, and that is great, and that is awesome. But with that being said, it's time to rate this. So we're rating Miracle on 34th Street, 1994, with a running time of nearly 2 hours. Wow, 2 hours. That's a long Christmas. No real special effects. A really good cast, a pretty good, I'll say pretty good cast. The top part of the cast is a strong cast. You'll see them, and they've been performing, doing stuff. So you can go from a 5 excellent to a 0 horrible for this. Now, hit the subscribe button, like, follow, and comment for more. We would love to have you join the collective family. Now, with that being said, this movie, the budget I believe was like $2 or $4 million. They made worldwide with this $40 million. That's a very good, setup. Better than the Polar Express. Go check out my review and how I feel about that. But with that being said, the movie has picked up over the years, kind of like Elf and certain ones, where regardless what it did in the box office, it's a staple. You see it constantly. You hear the music and stuff like that. Before I get my rating, there's one thing I felt like really just stood out to me in this movie that could have taken it to the next level. And giving you those feels like the Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen. There was the obvious that if you wanted to make it impactful, and again, without spoiling anything, that Kris Kringle should have just simply mentioned things that only he knows. They do that briefly, just like a slither towards the end. Okay. But if he would have been doing this, and us as the viewers get a chance to see and hear that, while the doubters don't hear that, they don't see it. The kids are sitting on his lap and they're asking what he wants. He does a great job connecting to people with disabilities and stuff like that. It's really heartwarming. But there's scenes where it's like the kid is like, well, my name is, jump in and say his or her name. Just say it. It adds to the belief. Not just for the little one, but for the people watching, the people around. And then, what do I want for Christmas? You want this. And it just does something. And I felt like we didn't get that. Now, I felt like we got a lot of great eye acting or facial acting, because you can feel Kringle want to say, look around and find out, every time somebody didn't believe in him. You could just see it. It was a little too much, to be honest. Like, oh man, come on now. It's not happy hour yet. It's not senior citizen half off, but he's about to give a 2-piece and a biscuit more than halfway the movie. But you can see how he lights up and gets warm when he notices people believe in him. And I felt like that was good and that was genuine. But like I said, getting into the legal stuff of the movie, there should have been a scene. There should have been a scene where he just, because the universe they created, they don't stick to. The court laws they created, they don't stick to. So I was like, there's nothing against him rattling off, hey, you, I know your name and know where you live. Hey, you, I know where your name is. I know where you live. And just keep going where everyone starts believing and you at home believe. I really like the fact that, again, there was so much in this. You have this woman who's hurt. Yes, this movie is a little deep. This woman that is hurt, she's been hurt, and she has these guards up around some wonderful people who believe, and they're trying to get her to believe. And you're watching that dynamic. And I think we can all find people, friends, family, coworkers who believe and who don't believe for the reasons that they, XYZ. So yeah, I'm gonna rate this a 4. This is a 4. Is there some issues and some plots in it? Yes. Is it nostalgic for a bit? It is, give or take, if you grew up watching it. I didn't grow up watching it as much as some of the other movies, so I won't say I'm biased to that. But I will say that I think it's a strong 4. I think it's a really good movie. I can't see them doing a remake of this without botching it, to be honest, because it does such a good job. But you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here. Until next time.